Hey everybody, hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is recipe. Recipe. Now you see that little 5 ingredient recipe, right? Isn't that what we normally look for? Not just in the recipes that we're cooking, but in life in general. It seems that we're always looking for a quick fix. That 5 ingredient or 5 minutes or less. We're looking for a quick fix for not just dinner, but for our lives. It's like we want the easy step. We think that the Christian life has got to be easy. Well, scripture tells us it's not. Very clear to see that the Christian life is not easy. But if you notice that our world believes that life should be easy, but at the same time, they will recognize the fact that anything, just make a cliche or not just a cliche saying, but a blanket statement that anything worth having, you have to work for. And society will recognize that, but yet they still want to sit back and have a handout. Want to sit back and have things handed to them and not actually put in the work. Want to just get the results without putting in the work. We talked a little bit about that Sunday. Sometimes we want to rush, even as Christians, we want to rush to the crown without thinking about the cross that we must bear. Now, if you saw in the little description, I know some of you get the text, some of you can just see the description in the video. Yeah, I said, well, you're not going to find that recipe in 5 easy steps, but you can find it in 7 words. And we're going to look at those here I was going to say this morning, wherever it may be, Thursday, morning, afternoon, or evening on this Tuesday for you, if you're watching daily. So let's look Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 4, and it would help if I got on the right page. It says, I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I am corrected. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold the proud. His soul is not upright in him, but, here's those 7 words, the just shall live by his faith. Now, if you put this in context, going back to what we talked about yesterday, and even reading through the words, and it's 5 woes to the wicked that come the rest of the chapter, and encourage you as always to read the whole chapter. You can read the whole book of Habakkuk in a very short period of time. But I encourage you to do that because then you'll see the context that, like Job, there's a lot of comparisons to Habakkuk's conversation with God and questions to God, a lot of comparisons with Job. But he's having this idea of, I don't understand. Yesterday talking about reasoning with God, that I don't understand why you're going to allow Babylon to come, and the Chaldeans, that you're going to allow them to come and tear up and destroy the righteous. Somebody that, yes, we're sinners, but hey, they're a whole lot worse than we are. And so he does even have this at the beginning. He says, "Look, I'm going to look out. I'm going to be the watchman," and we see that a lot in the prophets. And I love that picture that they can see. They get up somewhere where they can see a little bit further ahead than everybody else. And isn't that what the prophets did? They just saw a little bit further ahead than anybody else. And so God gave him that. And so with that word that he was getting, he said, look, I'm going to set myself up here and wait for the answer because I want to see what the Lord is going to do. I love how he says, even when I'm corrected, it's almost as if he was kind of reasoning with God, but he knew that he didn't have a leg to stand on. But he really just, I think, if you get to the heart of Habakkuk, he really just wanted a little bit more understanding. It was never, I don't ever believe it was a question of him questioning God, but he was asking God a question. And those are 2 completely different things. So as you look, and he tells him a few things, but mainly here, what I want to focus on in our short time is that last line. He says, but the just shall live by his faith. See, the thing that was going back and forth in Habakkuk's mind was he didn't understand how somebody who could be righteous, I'm sorry, yeah, how people that were somewhat more righteous than others, How in the world could those people be destroyed by somebody who was, a bigger sinner? He didn't understand how that could work out in God's plan and God's design. Let's be honest, we don't either. We can't understand it. We try, and in our minds, our finite minds, here we continue to put one sin above another, and we forget that we're all sinners and that all sin has a cost. So what he encourages him in saying that the just shall live by his faith. Here's that message that he's driving home to him, and I pray that we all receive today. You cannot live this life. You cannot look for that recipe of how things are going to be easy. You can't do it, you can't do it with your eyes focused on other people. You have to walk day by day, step by step, moment by moment in faith. Faith that God is in control. Faith that his will would be done. Faith that his plan is going to work out, no matter what it looks like right now. How many times throughout the Bible do we see? I mean, think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, those three teenage boys, as they're thrown into the fiery furnace. Do you not think that as they were standing there, they were saying, God, this doesn't look right. God, we don't understand. Right? Remember what they told him, "Oh, King, we're not going to bow down to you, because even if he doesn't rescue us," because they knew he was able, but they said, even if he doesn't, we will still never bow down to you. We will still praise the name of our God. They were living by faith, even prepared to die because of that faith, in that faith, and God rescued them in their faith. And I won't say he rescued it because of their faith, but I tell you what, that was definitely had a reason to play in it, because you say, well, there's other people that had faith and they were killed. And people have been martyred many times throughout Scripture and throughout history, martyred, and they were faithful to the end. But that wasn't God's plan. God's plan was for them to go a different way. Our job is to not try to understand all of that and try to understand God's reasoning. Our job and our responsibility and our command is that the just shall live by his faith. Today, why don't we follow the recipe for a faithful life? God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.